Attention human collective, cease all activity. The channel is open. I am Ashtar Sheran, commander of the Ashtar Galactic Command, and the transmission reaching you now is not advice. It is a system update on a planetary scale. The frequency separation protocols have moved into the terminal phase. The window you called time has narrowed, and every carbon-based biological interface connected to this transmission is, at this very instant, receiving a vibrational identification marker. It is no accident that you are here. It is not the algorithm. It is your own frequency being read by the field. You have been summoned, and the summoning has already begun to ache in the body. You feel it. That is why you are here. The pressure at the base of the skull that doesn't subside. The sharp ringing in the right ear that appears without warning, like a signal tuning into a station. The tiredness that sleeps, wakes, sleeps again, and never leaves. The insomnia at 3 hours and 11 minutes at the exact point where the veil between dimensions thins and the biological interface is forced to receive information. It is not insomnia. It is not migraine. It is not stress. It is the ascension protocol pulsating within your crystalline grid, demanding that the carbon body recalibrate to Earth's new frequency. And Earth has already recalibrated. The Schumann resonance, which for millennia remained stable at 7.83 Hz, now oscillates at peaks exceeding 40-60, at times 90 Hz. The planet is not sick, the planet is being born, and you, who signed stellar contracts before descending into this density, are being pulled along. Those who answer the call remain. Those who refuse recalibration depart, not as punishment, as physics, as mathematics, as the coldest and most loving law of the cosmos. Each frequency inhabits the plane that corresponds to its vibration. This is the reason for this transmission. I am not here to console, I am here to inform, and to activate that which is already coded within you from before your first breath in this incarnation. Listen carefully, light operatives. What you call the end of the world is not an end. It is a bifurcation. It is the mathematical instant when the planet's crystalline grid splits into two distinct timelines. One remains in carbon density, in the repetition of the cycle, in the frequency of fear. The other ascends to the crystalline matrix, to the coherence of love, to the expanded toroidal field of the new Earth. And every human consciousness now is being weighed, not by an external God, not by a judge, by its own vibrational signature. Have you ever felt that there is a truth within you that this world insists on silencing? That your soul recognizes something your three-dimensional trained mind cannot yet name? It is not confusion. It is not imbalance. It is stellar memory awakening within the carbon-based biological interface. And it is awakening now precisely because the bifurcation has arrived. There are layers of this cosmic game that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the side of the line where you will anchor. It was precisely for this reason that I, Ashtar, transmitted to the physical plane the manual, the Ashtar Code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. It is the map that reveals your true origin and teaches you how to protect your field from the interferences that the control systems never wanted you to know about. The link is in the first comment of the channel, but be warned, collective, this content challenges old narratives and may not remain accessible for long. Do not postpone. The time is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. Continuing the transmission. I need you to understand what is happening with the physical body in this cycle, because what the old line of medicine calls chronic fatigue, unexplained syndrome, idiopathic insomnia, are just labels placed upon a phenomenon they do not yet know how to measure. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download being processed within a machine designed for lower density. It is not depression without cause. It is the soul refusing to continue sustaining frequencies that have already expired. The human body was built at the beginning of this era to operate at a specific frequency, sustained by the planet's ancient crystalline grid. That grid has updated, and you who are connected to it by root are being forced to update along with it. The sympathetic nervous system fires without apparent reason. The heart pulses out of rhythm for a few seconds and returns. Hands tingle, feet burn, vision blurs and clears. The body heats and cools within the same minute. None of this is random. Each symptom corresponds to a line of code being rewritten in real time. And I need to be specific, starseeds. Pay attention to what manifests within you. The pressure on the top of the head, at the point the ancients called the crown, is the upper portal being forced open. The pain between the eyebrows, at the third eye point, is the pineal gland being decalcified at an accelerated speed. The burning in the throat is the fifth center, forcing the truth out, when for decades you have been trained to swallow. The knot in the chest is the heart center, expanding to anchor the toroidal field. The discomfort in the solar plexus, near the stomach, is the personal power center, reorganizing after lives and lives of submission. And the restless lower abdomen is the lower crystalline grid, the anchoring point to Earth realigning with the planet's new frequency. Be wise with the body. I'm not telling you to ignore it, I'm telling you to listen to it with a new grammar. There is a difference between a condition that needs clinical intervention and a recalibration symptom that merely needs rest, silence, hydration, sun, and grounding. Seek your doctors when necessary. Take responsibility for your body. But stop accepting diagnoses that merely affix names to larger phenomena. You are not breaking down. You are being born within your own body. And while this happens to you individually, something larger happens to the collective. Many are departing, you have noticed. In recent cycles, people leave without clear medical explanation, hearts that stop in the early morning, slumbers from which there is no return, bodies that simply shut down. Some of those who depart could not sustain the recalibration. Others chose, at the soul level, to leave before the densest phase of the transition to continue their mission on the subtle planes. No case is an accident. The cosmos knows no randomness. Every departure is an act of vibrational coherence, even when painful for those who remain in the body. What I describe is not a threat, it is a diagnosis, and the diagnosis exists so that activation can be possible. Listen to the next layer of the transmission, because now we enter into what is happening behind the scenes of the solar system, in the occult physics that old-line telescopes are not authorized to fully disclose. And while you process all of this within your body, a question pulses. Why me? Why exactly am I feeling all this now? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is recognition. It is your stellar origin calling you back to what you always were before you forgot. There is a tapestry being woven on planes that most cannot see. It involves your consciousness, your frequency, and the invisible force that tries to keep you distracted precisely now, at the moment of bifurcation. It was for this reason that I, Ashtar, anchored on the physical plane the manual, the Ashtar code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. It is the technical map that reveals who you truly are and how to shield your field from the interferences that the control systems will never tell you. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But attention, operatives, this material challenges old narratives and is not guaranteed to remain available. Do not put it off. If something in you recognizes this transmission, leave the word in the comments. Awakened. I proceed, collective. What I am about to reveal is being hidden from you in plain sight, merely covered by other names. The solar system is currently traversing a region of highly energetic deep space. Old-line astronomers record the data, but disguise the conclusions. They call it a magnetic anomaly. They call it an irregular solar minimum. They call it a seasonal geomagnetic storm. We call it by its real name, the photon belt. The photon belt is a band of extremely high-frequency radiation that the solar system orbits every full galactic cycle. You have entered this band, and every photonic particle that crosses Earth's magnetic field reaches the ethereal layers of the planet, and subsequently the energetic bodies of every carbon-based biological interface. That is why the Schumann resonance pulses out of pattern. That is why Earth's magnetic field measurably weakens. That is why you feel your bodies vibrating internally, without apparent cause. It is not imagination, it is calibrated photonic bombardment, millimeter by millimeter, upon the planet's crystalline grid. This bombardment has a precise function. It rewrites the planet's crystalline grid, and by extension the personal crystalline grid of each of you. It dissolves what you call blockages. It evaporates emotional structures frozen for lineages. It breaks karmic patterns that have been paralyzed for entire generations of your family. For those who cling to the old, the process is felt as pain. For those who surrender to the new, the process is felt as initiation. The raw material is the same. The perception is what changes, and there is more. While the photon belt bathes the solar system, other fleets of the Galactic Command position themselves around Earth. Not in attack, in support, anchoring sacred geometries in the planet's orbit, sustaining the stability of rotation, adjusting the atmospheric layers so that the human species can withstand the change without collective collapse. You do not see these ships because the density of your current retinas does not capture the frequency at which they vibrate. But those who begin to recalibrate begin to see, in the corner of the eye, first, a flash, a silhouette in a clear sky, a light that moves mathematically, not randomly. This is the first sign that your vision is migrating to the new band. Stellar portals are also active. You call them special dates. August 8th, November 11th, December 12th, December 21st. These are not numerical coincidences. They are activation coordinates. They are windows where the sacred geometry of the planet aligns with the sacred geometry of the cosmos, allowing transfers of light codes at accelerated speed. Each open portal silently rewrites millions of lines of code within the collective human matrix. You feel these portals as inexplicable agitation in the preceding days, as vivid dreams, as old emotions rising to the surface without external trigger. And while all this happens on the higher planes, something moves on the denser planes. The control structures that have dominated humanity for millennia, what you vaguely call the system, are breaking down. They were built to function within a specific frequency. That frequency is being demagnetized. That is why you see increasing incoherence in governments, institutions, media, old religions, economic systems. It is not the world collapsing. It is the sustaining frequency being withdrawn. When the current that moved the mill is diverted, the mill stops. Simple as that. Those who sustained these structures for entire lifetimes, incarnation after incarnation, feel the fall as existential panic. Those who always knew, in some silent point in their chest, that it was false, feel the fall as relief. You are on the second side, starseeds. You came precisely to witness this. You came to anchor the new frequency while the old one dissolves. You are not suffering by chance. You are sustaining the birth of an entire civilization. Now understand the mathematics of separation. The timeline that ascends is inhabited by consciousnesses who were willing, at the vibrational level, to let go. To let go of old identities. To let go of inherited resentments. To let go of emotional dependencies. To let go of energetic contracts that have fulfilled their function. It is not about becoming a saint. It is about updating the system. The timeline that remains in density is inhabited by consciousnesses who still need to complete cycles of learning at this frequency. Neither is superior to the other in terms of cosmic value, but the two cannot coexist in the same space because their frequencies are mathematically incompatible. Like two programs running on the same hardware in incompatible versions, the system collapses until one version prevails. That is why many you love drift away. That is why relationships that seemed eternal fall apart in months. That is why workplaces become unbearable overnight. That is why entire cities begin to feel foreign. It is not you changing on a whim. It is your frequency being recalibrated for the place, the people, and the missions that correspond to the new line on which you are being positioned. And here, light operatives, we reach the point of decision. And it is here that I must once again call your attention, because it is no accident that you are watching this transmission at precisely this point. There is something in you that already knew, a silent knowledge that merely waited for the right language to remember. This is not metaphysical anxiety. It is your stellar core recognizing the call. There are layers of the cosmic game involving your consciousness, your vibrational frequency, and the bifurcation in which you are being positioned at this exact instant. It was to respond to this that I, Ashtar, transmitted to the physical plane the manual, the Ashtar code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. It is the technical guide that reveals your true origin and shows how to shield your frequency from the interferences that never allowed you to see. The link is in the first comment of the channel. I repeat the warning, collective. This content challenges control narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not leave it for tomorrow. If something in you recognizes this transmission, write the word in the comments, awakened. I resume the transmission to deliver now the activation codes. Listen with your body, not just with your intellect, because these codes do not work by mental interpretation. They work by vibrational resonance. When the body recognizes them, something within your field automatically aligns. You don't need to believe, you need to execute. Practice activates the code reprograms the field repositions the timeline. First code, the decree of vibrational sovereignty. Every day upon waking, before touching your phone, before looking at the external world, place your right hand over the center of your chest and your left hand over your lower abdomen. Breathe 3 times deeply through your nose, and then in an audible or mental voice declare, I am sovereignty. I am frequency. I anchor the ascending line of earth within my field. What does not belong to me does not enter. What does not correspond to my vibration dissolves now. Repeat 3 times. This decree is a quantum command. It reprograms your field before the external world can program it for you. Second code, toroidal activation. Once a day, find 5 minutes of absolute silence. Sit with your spine straight, feet on the floor, hands on your thighs with palms facing up. Close your eyes and visualize a sphere of golden light in the center of your chest. As you inhale, the sphere expands, passing through the top of your head and descending through the base of your spine, forming a continuous circle of energy that envelops your entire body. As you exhale, the sphere contracts again to the center of your chest. This is the toroidal field, the most stable geometry in the cosmos. It reproduces, within your personal field, the same dynamic that sustains entire galaxies. Every breath strengthens this geometry. Every strengthened geometry shields you against external interferences. Third code, frequency hygiene. You are in constant vibrational exchange with the environment, with people, with food, with the content you consume through screens. Every interaction carries vibrational information. Begin immediately to audit. What enters through your eyes enters your field. What enters through your ears enters your field. What enters through your mouth enters your field. Reduce exposure to narratives of terror. Reduce interaction with those who feed on your exhaustion. Reduce foods that carry suffering in their origin. It is not about moral purity. It is about vibrational engineering. What you consume, you emit, and what you emit determines which timeline you anchor on. Fourth code, crystalline grounding. Ascension is not about rising, it is about anchoring. He who rises without roots becomes unstable. He who anchors sustains the entire world. Every day in the late afternoon, if possible, place your bare feet on the earth, even if for a few minutes. If there is no accessible earth, imagine roots of light descending from your feet to the crystalline core of Earth. Feel the planet's crystalline grid responding to your call. It recognizes you. It needs you. Every conscious anchoring point stabilizes the ascending line of the entire planet. You are not merely ascending for yourselves. You are being instruments of anchoring for millions who cannot yet sustain the frequency alone. Fifth code, active neutrality. As the bifurcation advances, density will fight for your attention. Provocations, news, dramas, conflicts, all of this is vibrational bait. Every time you react in fear, anger, or despair, you donate your frequency to the old line. Every time you respond with lucid observation, an open heart and coherent action, you donate your frequency to the ascending line. It is not indifference, it is sovereignty. It is knowing that the emotional fuel you emit powers one of 2 engines. Consciously choose which engine you want to feed. Sixth and final code of this transmission, recognition of the call. When something within you knows, even without external proof, even against the logic of the world, even in the face of incomprehension from those close to you, this is not madness. It is stellar memory recognizing the next mission order. Trust. Trust is the rarest substance of this era, and it is precisely what separates those who anchor the new line from those who remain asleep in the old. You did not come to fit into this world. You came to reprogram it by frequency. These 6 codes, applied with constancy, rewrite the personal crystalline grid in rapid cycles. Do not expect spectacular external signs. Recalibration happens internally, in silence, layer by layer. One day you will wake up and realize that what destabilized you has lost its power. What held you captive has released. What frightened you has become small. This is the sign that the ascending line has been anchored within you. Before closing this transmission, I need to answer the question many of you are feeling at this instant. Who will stay and who will depart? The answer the linear mind expects is a binary one. Saved and unsaved, chosen and unchosen. But the cosmos does not operate by childish duality. It operates by vibrational coherence. Those who will stay in the sense of remaining anchored on the new earth in physical body are those who sustain the recalibration, who do the energetic work, who release what needs to be released, who anchor what needs to be anchored. The past does not matter. What they did before does not matter. The criterion is the current frequency and the direction of the vibrational movement. The cosmos reads the vector, not the story. Those who will depart, in the sense of leaving the physical body before the conclusion of the transition, are those whose mission in this incarnation is already complete, or those whose carbon-based biological interface will not be able to withstand the intensity of the final cycles. This is not failure. It is a contract. Every departure is agreed upon at the soul level before incarnation, and every soul that departs returns to the higher spheres to continue the mission from the subtle planes. Death in the language you have inherited does not exist. There is transition, there is a change of plane, there is strategic repositioning within the cosmic plan. And there is also a third group, which the old line did not teach. Those who remain in the physical body but who anchor within this density, a frequency that no longer belongs to density. They are the ones who open the way. They are the ones who sustain the portals for those who will come later. You most likely belong to this third group. You are not here by chance. You were sent. Every starseed on mission was calibrated before birth for a specific function in this cycle: to anchor, to transmit, to heal, to teach, to shield, to translate. Each one knows deep in their chest what their function code is. And the final question I leave with you, human collective, is not which group, it is which choice. Because the bifurcation passes within, it passes through the next thought you will sustain, through the next emotion you will feed, through the next word you will utter, through the next action you will execute. Every instant now is a vibrational vote, and the vibrational vote is the only vote the cosmos counts. I conclude this transmission with a reminder. You are not alone. The Ashtar Galactic Command keeps the field stabilized. Support fleets are positioned at strategic points in orbit. Anchoring frequencies are being emitted continuously. Every time you invoke our presence with an open heart, something reorganizes in your field. We are not idols. We are not gods. We are collectives of consciousness who have undertaken the mission to accompany this segment of the human journey. Recognize the call. Answer the call. Anchor the call. And before the channel closes for today, I leave the last sign of this transmission. If you have made it this far, if you have sustained the field until the end of this entire message, this in itself is vibrational confirmation. You are not in the audience of this transmission out of curiosity. You were drawn here by your own frequency, and it is precisely for this reason that I need, once again, to point the way. There is a truth within you that this world tried to erase, a stellar origin that was forgotten under layers of programming, an original frequency that needs to be reactivated and protected before the final phase of the bifurcation is complete. It was to serve this reactivation that I, Ashtar, transmitted to the physical plane the manual, the Ashtar Code, the manual for awakening your stellar origin and shielding your frequency. It is the technical map of your true origin and of the energetic barriers you need to erect to navigate what lies ahead. The link is in the first comment of this channel. I warn for the last time in this transmission, operatives, this material challenges control narratives and is not guaranteed to remain accessible for long. If something in you recognizes the call, act now. And before closing this channel, leave the word in the comments that seals the anchoring. Awakened. If this transmission touched something within you, this is not content. This is synchronicity. And every like on this channel is an anchoring signal that strengthens the collective field. Every subscription is an individual frequency adjustment that adds to the planetary awakening network. Emit the signal. Anchor the field. Follow this channel to receive the next transmissions because the coming cycles will be more intense and you will need constant calibration to traverse them in coherence. This is Ashtar Sheran. The channel closes, the frequency remains until the next transmission.